Tyler Maine played Rufus Jr. in Devil's Rejects. I was in House of a Thousand Corpses, multi-viewed horror movie. I never had a scene with Sid, although we've done conventions together, and Sid is an awesome guy. He was so kind to his fans, really, really cool guy. I enjoyed being in Sid's presence. Super classy guy. Spider Baby, one of my favorite films he worked on when he was 19 years old, I think like 1962 or so. Awesome movie. Spider Baby. Creepy spiders. I recently have elected to do more indie horror movies. So I've got a couple that I'm working on coming up soon. Actually, I did a regional project here called Go Away. That's the victim. Go away, please, go away. And I have a movie Locked In coming up where I get to kidnap a couple of women and torture them and do a couple bad things for the dark web. I'm super excited about that project. So yeah, that's it.
So,
I dig horror.
I had a thought. I was talking to Lou over there, and I said, you know what would be a really good idea to do? Is that we make some kind of a Western. And we have all of these guys like Robert and the other guys that play Jaysons and the guys that play Freddy's and the guys that play Happy Death Day guy like Robert Mello and all those guys unmasked in the movie. Wouldn't be great, giant major roles, but you would just be interspersed in cameos throughout this Western, and people, the fans would go, oh, that's Robert, oh, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so.
Right. Yeah.
So we got to start working on that script. That's just the idea I had.
Lou is very, very creative.
Yes, he is. So I planted that bug with him. We'll see what we come up with.
Right, yeah, it's a good seed to plant to the universe. Hopefully it comes true.
Well, did any of you guys see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Quentin Tarantino's new film.
Awesome movie.
So Lou is basically in the background. He's unfortunately like an extra in
I
the
didn't see him.
Yeah, well, and nobody really did. When they're shooting the saloon scene with Leo DiCaprio, where he keeps messing up his lines, Lou is behind him by the bar, spitting in a spittoon, and that's kind of the idea. It's like we do something like that with you guys, just to be part of the movie, just to have little Easter eggs of all these famous dudes.
Yeah, I like
interspersed.
that.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
I like that little kid too. I love kids. I've got two. They're growing up, and I'm getting older, but I might do it again. Shit, I love kids.
So, when you guys get into your characters in the movies, what helps you inspire you to get into those roles?
You want the serious answer or the funny answer?
Whichever. Let's do both.
You want the funny answer is my paycheck.
Yes.
Right?
You want me to go first on this one?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. When I was on The Walking Dead, which I'm sure that's the one thing that y'all are familiar with my work, is that character was so much like me that it didn't take a whole lot of work. And I auditioned for that show for 6 years before I finally booked it. And I kept reading for all these different kinds of roles. And when I would see the person who booked it, I'm like, they're the guy. They're the person to play this. I could do it, but they're better. And so when it came to the part that I got, they wrote it very much like me, based upon what they've seen and learned about me. So that one wasn't so difficult, but I've also played a lot of really bad guys who, like a plantation owner who tortures his slaves, and a guy who's on death row because he's a serial killer and things like that. And so that just comes into tapping into that deep, dark lizard brain part of you that we keep hidden away that keeps us from murdering people every day, and just letting it loose for about an hour and know that it's all pretend. That's what I do.
I like your initial answer, like it's a job and we get compensated for it. So that's always fun to do something that you kind of dream of, and you see other people doing it and you think, well, I want to do that. And then you book a role and you're like, okay, I'm going to do a good job at this. So that's initially the first effort of having a good performance is that you want them to want you back and you want to do a good job. And then actually performing it, I think for me, I was raised in a little bit of a rough neighborhood, so I used to get bullied. And then as I grew bigger,
hard to believe that.
I was young. So the younger big guy gets bullied by the older guys that you're the same size of. So when I'm in the third grade, the sixth graders used to kind of punk me around because I'm the older brother, and my cousin didn't live very close. I have a cousin that's older, but he didn't live very close, and he didn't go to my school. So when I became a sixth grader, I was a little bit of a bully when I got bigger, and so I can reflect on some of that stuff, and some of my buddies were kind of mean too, and got in trouble with robbery and everything like that, being an inner city guy. So just, I was kind of raised around it a little bit, and I played basketball, and some of those guys are kind of tough in the summer leagues, and so I just kind of think of the dark side of what I've seen as a kid. Yeah, so that's kind of good for me. Yeah.
You got to be able to leave it on the set too, because your spouse doesn't like it when you bring it home. They're like, "All right, leave that at home. Yeah, you're home now. Let that go."
And it can be challenging. Some higher level actors have had difficult times adjusting. I've got this dark project coming up. I was telling you guys about, Locked In, and I've read the script like 20 times, and so I'm kind of looking at women a little differently, and I'm like, God damn, man, this is going to be fun. I'm starting to think about kidnapping a little bit already here. This is weird, man. Yeah, but I'm going to do it on when it's time to do it. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Yeah.
What made you guys get into acting? What made you want to become actors in movies and in TV series?
Pardon me. So I was a basketball player until I was 30, and I had no clue or no thoughts of being an actor. I was a basketball dude. I did 5 years in Europe. I didn't make a lot of money to retire. I used to get in a little trouble going along the ways and stuff, and being a rebel, and not being good enough to override that as politically. So I was playing, my father lives in Los Angeles, and I was playing in summer basketball leagues, and I had friends that were actors and basketball players, so they would do basketball commercials, and we bonded and everything, and some of my colleagues were like, man, you should try out for commercials. I'm like, bro, that's for Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. That's on my era, way back then. And they're like, no, as an actor. I'm like, dude, what do you mean, right? So I saw this Burger King commercial, and this player that I found not being as attractive as me, my woman looked better, my car was nicer, I made more money playing basketball than him. He was on a Burger King commercial eating a burger after he played scrimmage basketball. And so I told my friend, man, Steve, this motherfucker's got a commercial for Burger King. Dude, you're right. And then shortly afterwards, one of my friends introduced me to their agent. It took about 3 auditions, and I got a Nike commercial playing defense. I was a principal, but not the main guy. Spud Webb was a small guy, and he just dribbles around. Yeah. He dribbles around a couple basketball players. I'm like playing defense, and I got the commercial, and I made pretty good money. They let me keep the tennis shoes. They were really nice, and then I was dating an actress lady, and she was always telling me that I could do it because you look like an actor and blah blah blah, all that stuff, and then I just started thinking about it more and more, and I got into it. Yeah, that was it for me. Commercials.
I grew up doing this most of my life. When I was like a kid, 9, 10 years old, I was doing theater and stuff with other kids, and just kept at it. It's just something I love doing. I sucked at sports. I sucked at basketball. I sucked at baseball, but I was good in theater, and that's where people, I got to shine. And so I did it, and it was fun, but I wasn't making any money at it. And then when the film and television industry came to Georgia, which is where I'm from, it really helped me kind of get back into it professionally, and then one thing led to another, and I kept auditioning, and eventually they let me work on some nice shows and some big movies.
We're lucky. The Walking Dead, I love that show.
Oh yeah, very lucky, very fortunate. Came to my town, so that was nice.
There was a show called Sliders. I don't know if you guys, NBC show, I believe. Good-looking guy was a star of it. He's O'Connor, what's his name? Jerry, super cool motherfucker, right? And so I'm the doorman of this party that he's trying to get into. I think his brother was on that show, that episode too. So I'm the doorman of this party, and it was easy to play because I just wore a suit and hold up guys, and then they give me a little bit of stuff to sneak around me. So they're setting up and they're doing blocking and everything. They got it all set up, and I'm just a day player. And the main people were doing, Jerry and everybody was doing a scene in a different set of the section of the studio, and so they were coming to our area next. So it was almost time for those guys to come over, but no one was really paying attention to me, and I was getting bored. So I'm kind of fumbling around and hitting stuff, and kind of just waiting, and somehow I hit the power box for the whole studio. And it made a loud pop, and all the power went off for the whole studio. And so it scared me because it was a loud pop, and I'm like, something had to be wrong with it, because I didn't pull the switch down or anything. And so the guys were like walking around like, guys, I think it was me. I kind of hit that box a little bit. What the fuck? Why'd you do that? I was like, it was an accident. Sorry, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. I hope I get my check still. But yeah, that was funny and awkward and embarrassing, and I've never done that again since. So yeah.
Any of you guys ever watch the TV show Sleepy Hollow? Okay, I don't know if you guys remember. I was in season 1. There's a bit where these two guys are hunting in the woods, and the white horse with the red eyes comes riding up on its own, and there's a white hunter and the black hunter. I'm the white hunter, and so after I see the horse, I shoot the other guy, and then I pull out my cell phone and I make a phone call. And in the script, when I'm auditioning for it, it's written in English. And then I have a second scene later where I'm trying to summon some demons, and it's all spoken in Old German, this old dialect of German, because I'm one of those Hessians that I've got the tattoo that all those guys have. And so in the second scene, my lines are like, etwas ist im Breiter passiert, and this kind of German stuff, but I don't speak German. I just learned these words because I have a friend who's German. And so in the second scene, it was Ich bin euer letzter Diener auf der Welt, and all this kind of crazy stuff.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's why I got the part, because I practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced, and then I did the audition and they hired me. So then I show up in Wilmington, North Carolina, where they're filming this thing, and they have my script in the room, and I pop open the thing, and I'm looking at it, because I can make sure there's no rewrites, because we're shooting in the morning. And there's my first scene, and it's the same lines. It's like, hey, something's happened to the writer. We need to get team 3 together. And then it says in new stuff, to be spoken in German. And I'm like, I don't know how to speak German. We're shooting this at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and it's 9 p.m. right now. And I'm like calling the second AD, going, hey, I don't speak German. Well, our interpreter's not here. She's out of town, and our dialect coach, and blah blah blah. So they end up, and we're desperate, so the second AD finds somebody from the local community college who teaches German, who's from China. And so now I'm on the speakerphone with this woman with a Chinese accent teaching me German, and we're like translating the lines, and it's just a bunch of gibberish, because I don't speak, trying to memorize English words is hard enough. Memorize a foreign language, it's just blah, 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 and I'm like, if you've been there,
I played basketball in Germany, oh my God,
well,
I didn't learn anything.
Right.
The next season I played in Brazil, and it was so easy to learn that language.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like a music almost.
And German and English are the same language.
Right.
I know, so anyway, I work on I'm pretty good at learning lines. I work on them all night. I did sleep some. The next morning I'm working on them, it's like, these things are not sticking. They're not sticking. And we get on set, and we're the first shot of the day, and we're going over there, and we're in the middle of the woods. There's a horse, and a guy handling the horse, and I've got a rifle, and I've got a pistol, and I've got a cell phone, and all these props, and I'm just like, I've been acting my whole life. I start getting nervous,
right?
And so when they start pushing in for the close-up, and I've got to go, hey, something's happened to the writer. We need to get team 3 together right now, but the line is dritte, blah blah blah. I couldn't get the lines out. And at one point I panicked and just started going gibberish. Blah, 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 blah. And the director's like, are you just talking gibberish? Yeah, man, I can't remember the lines. He goes, and I tried to tell him my story. He's like, don't worry about it. This guy's got a resume longer than my arm. He's been making TV for 30 years. He's pissed, you can tell. So they bring in this other guy who's down, and so we'll push you in close. We'll feed you like one sentence at a time. you'll repeat it. We'll shoot the close-up. So if you ever see that episode, when I'm speaking German, it's in the master. I'm like 50 feet away from the camera with the subtitles underneath. That was the longest 4 hours of my life. We got it done, but yeah. And then that second scene, they brought me back 2 weeks later. I shot the second scene with the that whole bit. Cut it from the whole thing.
Oh my God.
The part that I got right, but they paid me for 2 weeks, so I was very happy.
They get in really quickly. You just get a gun and shoot everybody, and that's it, right? All horror movies can end quickly. You've got to throw them out. So, where would the fun be if those guys died within the first 20 minutes of the film? I guess, right? Yeah. There's nothing like a little suspense and torture and letting them think they're going to get away, and then not really, and then we almost got you, but maybe you can sneak away. Go ahead and try.
You stay here. I'm going out in the woods by myself in the dark.
Good idea. Good idea.
No.
Yeah, that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. Just watching their reactions of, this is crazy shit, but let's just get through this and we'll get out of here. Nah, we're gonna just have fun with you and toy with you. Yeah, Superman or whatever, one of those nice heroes, just being an evil motherfucker against them, right? But now the time's expired and they're not picking me. I just want to fuck people up in movies now. I want to do horror. I'm in it, and I'm going to stay in it, and I'm going to own it and love it. So whatever dirty deeds come along for me, I'm going to be super excited for it.
I would, right now, my biggest hope is that if they do make the 3 Walking Dead movies like they keep saying they're going to, that one of them will be Negan's backstory and I get to bring Gavin back. And that would be fun. But that's the kind of stuff I like to do. I just want to be in good movies and TV shows with good scripts where I get to, do good stuff, and not just be, in other words, be a part of the story as opposed to just helping to push the story along, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but
it's always
you
fun.
asked me what my dream was.
There you go. It's always fun to work though. Like the dream is working too. Because like we might not get picked again. You may never work.
We may
myself
never work
too.
again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've done quite a few decent projects that I still get residuals for, and Westworld was the last big one, and the trailer was awesome, and the food was incredible, etc. And the indie that I just worked on a couple of days ago, that was super cool. The coolest part about acting for me is the moments between leading up to action, because then I start thinking about the guy and I start tingling, and then action and cut. And the moments in between that when we're really doing it, that's the funnest time for me.
Oh, absolutely. The waiting sucks.
It does.
The waiting sucks.
The auditioning sucks.
The auditioning sucks too. I mean,
Right.
that's what, the way I look at it is I act for free. They pay me to wait and they pay me to audition.
I like that. I've learned 2 things from him this weekend. I like that. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the rewards. And I've learned this, the reward of getting in shape and taking a beautiful headshot. Enjoy that. Celebrate that. Celebrate being submitted. Finding the agent that submits you. Celebrate the audition. Study, behave, take care of yourself, try to book it, and enjoy getting it. Because if you do all the right things, you'll get some, and just enjoy it.
Right, and again, it is a commitment. It's not something. I mean, we could tell stories about people who got lucky, who just got picked up off the street and then became something. But most of the time, 99% of the time, the people who are working, they've spent their entire lives working at it for one way or another. Even if it started out as basketball and then wrestling and then acting, it's still part of that same world. Yeah. So it's just a matter of, I can't do anything else and not kill myself. I can do something else besides acting and be very happy with my life. Do that, because it's nothing but rejection.
That's so true. I used to be so shy. Family pictures, like I would just be the shyest, quietest guy, and then I got pushed into basketball, and then there's a crowd. I'm like, oh shit, right? Yeah. I gotta have a beer before I go out there. There's 2,000 people in, right? That was in high school. Maybe a puff too, because goddamn the anxiety here, right? And then so I got used to that, And if it wasn't for that, if I was doing something else and just got thrown into acting, I think I would be too scared to. Like even sitting up here in front of you guys, kind of looking at us and looking at me, like I used to be super nervous about that. Like, yeah, did I? Is mine? Do I look retarded? Sorry for saying that word, guys. Damn, there's so many things that we're not allowed to say. Even us older guys, not allowed to. Do I look challenged up here?
I think you and I are the same age. We were born the same year.
Oh wow,
64.
You're more educated than me, though.
Well,
So,
whatever. What is it? Well, look at where it's gotten me.
yeah. Right.
Josh Michael, who played Jared, who was kind of my sidekick in season 7, and then we got separated in season 8. He and I are friends. We both live in Atlanta. We're both Georgia natives, and every time we get a new script, we text each other like, "Dude, we're still alive. We're still alive." Yeah, we had no guarantee. We assumed that he's like, "Hey, we survived the episode," because we told each other, if we can get 2 episodes out of this, anything else after that'll be gravy. And then we both got 2 seasons. But that first season, I'm in 3 episodes. I only worked 4 days. 1 day for 1 episode, 1 day for another episode, and then the 3rd episode, that's the one with 10 pages. It took 2 days to shoot it. So it's, they didn't pay me a lot of money, but I had a good time. But yes, you never know. And then between season 7 and season 8, nobody's like going, "All right, well, we'll see you next year." They're like, "Thanks. Bye."
That must be
peace.
really nerve-wracking, very nerve-wracking.
If you're a bigger character, yeah, they do lock you in.
Where was the Talking Dead filmed? Where is
That's in Los Angeles. I didn't get to go, but that's where they do it, yeah. Well, when I died the same episode as Carl, they couldn't have both of us on the show because they would have been like, "Who's this dude? Why is he here?" So, yeah, I got screwed by Carl on that one.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time to let us know more about your life and how it is in the industry and answering some of the questions. We really appreciate you guys coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause.
Thank you guys. I thought
Thank
there was
you
going to be
guys. Thanks for
cognac
coming
and
to the-
cigars, gentlemen of horror, cognac and
Right.
cigar. Yeah.
Thanks for coming to the con too, guys. We appreciate you.
Yes. Very much.
Without you guys being there would be no con for any of us. And so thanks for being a part of the con circuit. We really appreciate it. And dressing up like Freddy Krueger and
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, she's hot too.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. We really
And
appreciate
the
it,
nun
guys.
from
Thank
St.
you, thank you,
Agatha.
thank you.
There you go. Thanks, guys.